Hello, good morning, everyone. Good evening. Here we are in the month of Aquarius, which took place yesterday, Wednesday, January 19th, and takes us all the way to February 17th. And these readings are going to be focused elementally on the signs and their element of influence. So we are starting with the month of Aquarius, which is an air sign, also seen as the water bearer in some imagery, because we do see an individual who is pouring water from one vessel into another. But the premise of that is coming through the process um, of healing, but healing in a way that looks out for the betterment of humanity. And it's working with the different elements, sort of similar to temperance, but not quite. Um, it rules the way that we see things perspective-wise, and so it's a change of perspective. So this episode, and I have to apologize because I am dealing with a mild cold. So I'll do my best to keep the coughing to a minimum, but I actually want to get these readings out because I hear we're going to be getting some weather in the next 1 or 2 days, and I don't want to risk having a power outage again, and then I'm stuck and behind in doing these readings. So with that being said, and how I'm feeling, these readings are going to be pretty straightforward. I spend anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes on the signs and talk about their influences during this month of Aquarius. So Aquarius, again, is an air sign. It deals with radical ways of thinking, moving to the beat of your own drum. You have a way, it's a fixed sign, you have a way of seeing things, and for the most part, it can be very hard to detract Aquarius away from that perspective that they have, because it's so idealistic, it is so expansive. The planets that influence Aquarius is Saturn and Uranus. So Saturn has that discipline, which I talk about the planetary characteristics the sign characteristics of Aquarius in my previous video, or 2 videos ago. And so Saturn puts in that set way of getting things done, working within a time frame. Uranus is a planet ruled by air, so it is expansiveness. So that comes in with the influence of the mind, how things are processed, how things are perceived. But Saturn comes in. Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius. Saturn comes in, and I feel it's almost a saving grace for Aquarius, because it puts all those ideas and ways of seeing things, it puts things more in a containment so that Aquarius can hopefully reach their goal, what they want to get across to themselves, but also to the community. They're very community oriented. They like to work in groups. And so that's very important for Aquarius. They like to know how people think. They're looking for like-minded people. So for these readings, I'm going to focus on the air signs. I'm going to start off with Aquarius. The next sign I'm going to do, because we have coming up in the early summer, late spring, is Gemini. That'll be the second reading. And then the third reading will be in the sign of Libra. Libra is a cardinal sign. So cardinal signs indicate the start of a new season, the start of a new way of doing things. So I will discuss that a little bit further as we get to that point when doing the readings. But let's just go ahead and jump right into Aquarius. So I'm going to work with a different deck, because I was speaking with Gerald when we were doing our live, and I showed the Gill Tarot by Elizabeth Gill. And this is a deck that I will be working with for doing Kabbalah Tree of Life work, path work. But for some reason, I decided to, I shouldn't say for some reason, I know why. I felt called to use this deck. There's the Gill Tarot. To to focus on the air signs. I may use this deck for maybe one of the two other elements. I have to see how the energy is gravitating with me so far with the readings here. But for these air signs, I will be using the Guild Tarot. And I'll see for the fire, water, and earth signs if I'm going to stick with this deck or work with another deck. Okay, so let's just go right into it for Aquarius. So this reading here is for your month, for your birthday month. So happy birthday, all Aquariuses out there, all you innovators, all of you individuals who see things quite differently from other people. So let's see what this month holds for you. Okay, so again, Aquarius rules from January 19th and goes all the way to February 17th. And then we end with Pisces, which is the water sign. And it's a mutable sign. So keep in mind, Aquarius is fixed. Okay, so I've had to shuffle this deck for a little bit because I did have it in order because I was working on a certain sequence in understanding this deck and a certain practice. So I had shuffled it quite a bit already, so I think we're good. Okay, so I do 3 cards for each sign. Okay, one card came face up while I was pulling, so I'm going to stick with that card. Okay. All righty. This card's been popping up. So for me, in my daily gratitude readings that I did about a week ago, but here we go for Aquarius. Okay. And again, keep in mind, you don't necessarily have to, it doesn't necessarily have to be your sun sign. It could be your moon sign, your rising sign. If you feel that you gravitate more with Aquarius energy, you can take this reading, but also read, take a look at the other readings, like your sun sign and your moon sign, if they fall into a different sign. Okay, so the first card that I got here, and I read intuitively, so there is no set layout. First card I got here, and this is a card that I said has been showing up in recent readings for me. This is the Tower card. I'm going to go right here in front. Actually, bear with me here. I'm going to move this light. It's going to probably fall. Okay. There we go. Let's see. So here's our Tower card. This is from the Guild Tarot. And it speaks for itself. Okay. We see the breaking down of past work, past karma, actions, behavior. This is ruled by Mars, which is a fire sign. So with this Tower card for Aquarius for this month, we are seeing the breaking down of barriers, the breaking down of what you feel is best needed to get your ideas across, to really move forward in your ideas and your perspectives that you feel so strongly about. It's going to be a lot of work. Whenever the Tower comes in, you know, as some people may see as a negative card, there's a message of, you know, goodness coming out of it if we work through this. And this tends to be sudden change. We can also use that influence for Uranus. Uranus is that planet also of sudden changes, quick upheavals. So let's watch out for this energy here for the month of Aquarius, for the sign of Aquarius. Okay, be prepared for any changes that are coming in. Do not let it rattle you. Okay, it may come as a shock at first, but know that this is meant to happen. This is where you need to be. These are the forces that you need to influence you to make these changes to get to where you are. Second card that I have here, which is very interesting because we are in 2022, and this marks the year tarot-wise for the major arcana, a 6th year, and it's associated with the sign of Gemini. And this card I have here for Aquarius is, is the Lovers. Okay. So we have a commonality with Aquarius being an air sign but fixed, while the Lovers for Gemini is also air. But we're seeing almost an extension from this tarot card about working with our ideals, changing past ways of doing things, but now clearly connecting with people and finding those influences that can help you gain where you need to be. The Lovers I see is a communicative card. So these are influences for the Lovers. It doesn't necessarily mean a relationship, but if it does, it could just be finding someone who is that like-minded match. And so that's where that Gemini influence can come in for Aquarius. But that influence of the Lovers with Gemini, with Aquarius, is a bit challenging because Gemini is mutable. So Gemini is is open to hearing different perspectives, while Aquarius already has the path set out. They know where they want to go, what changes they want to see. So they're pretty fixed. So with this Lovers card of influence for Gemini, we need to see this understanding with Aquarius. So to put a little bit more flexibility, be open to some other perspectives. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change them, to meet someone else's expectations, because I feel that's not going to happen with Aquarius. But at least listen and hear what influences could be there, and be open to the exchange, because I think that exchange may potentially have you connecting, like I said, with community or with a individual who's like, you know what, I like the way you think. It could be another Aquarius. It doesn't necessarily have to be Gemini, but it could be someone who has that like-mindedness and wants to work with someone who thinks the same way, not so much feel, but think, and to see what can be done to make the changes that they both believe in. The third card that I have here, and this is actually our third decan for Aquarius. This is the I'm sorry, my mistake. This is Seven of Wands. I was thinking this was Swords. This is Seven of Wands. And so this influence that we have here is valor. We're starting to see things moving in the direction that it needs to. This is fire influence, the Seven of Wands. And so we see the work building up. So after we have this communication, after we've torn down, things that we no longer need, our perspectives, our energy forces that just don't seem to be moving or connecting with us or enhancing us, after we've broken that down and come to terms with it and connecting with the Lovers, speaking out your beliefs and what you feel is of importance, potentially finding that person or that group of people that feel the same line as you, we could start seeing this energy moving forward. Valor. This is pride. This is a place of where everything starts falling into place. Keep in mind, this is work. Okay, just like the Tower of breaking things down and making those energy forces work in your betterment by breaking down, tearing down all those forces, and then start communicating and moving this energy forward. You'll start getting that support, and you'll start feeling this energy moving in such a way that it will place you in the right direction. But keep in mind, look for those signs. Look for any changes that happen all of a sudden. And after you've gone through that, how you're interacting with people, who you're meeting. Is there something that you're feeling that is starting to change in the way that the knowledge and the communication that you have with other people? Start looking at that and then work with that energy that feels right to you. And that's where we get to the Seven of Valor. Getting to that point of movement, starting to take those perspectives and putting it to work. And that could be through petitioning, through organizing things, start making steps to make these changes happen, but in the physical realm. Okay, so that's for Aquarius. Oh, I love this deck. Next sign I have up here is Gemini. So again, these are going to be a little bit shorter because of how I'm feeling, but I will still get the message across. Okay, so Gemini. Okay, we got that card of the Lovers. 2022 is the year of Gemini. Or is this 6th year? But if you do have Gemini in your chart, sun year, rising moon, pay attention to anything that you see that may cross your paths as a way. I think this year in particular is going to be great change for not everyone, but for some people. And that happens every year. Every year there's going to be changes happening. But so far since the start of this year, I've been seeing a Uranus-Saturn shakeup taking place with a certain group of people, certain generation. And so I think it's just one of these things like, okay, let's be mindful of this. You could question it a little bit, but don't stay stuck in the head with it. Let's start accepting what's happening and moving forward with it. Okay, if things happen for a reason, they normally do, because there's a reason for it. Okay, so Gemini, let's see what I have here for you. All righty, so Gemini's mutable sign associated with this card, the Major Arcana archetype of the Lovers. So Aquarius, we're dealing with idealistic, conceptual perspectives of things. Well, Gemini is just a little bit, well, let's just talk about it. Let's see what we can do. It's all about creating balance, but also stimulating conversation for Gemini. Gemini wants something that really inspires them when they connect with people. Okay. Okay, give me one moment. So with Gemini, I have different elements here. I have a card. I have one core card, Major Arcana card, then one card that's held in the realm of the Wands, which is, again, fiery movement. First card I have here for you, for Gemini, for this month of Aquarius. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen during this month of Aquarius, but it's just being aware of any shifts. Start looking or paying attention to things that may show shifts. So what I have here for Gemini, I see growth. Okay, this is the Princess of Discs or Princess of Pentacles. But here what we're seeing with Gemini, we're seeing more of a stabilizing approach towards how Gemini normally does things. Gemini, and this is again for the month of Aquarius, Gemini can find themselves in many different realms when it comes to communicating. I think for this month, and I think this sort of falls in line for Aquarius with that Saturn influence, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which rules the mind and intellect and education, how we learn things. I think there's a form of stability that's needed at this time for Gemini to kind of to feel a little bit more centered as to what is most important. With the Princess of Discs, we see their environment. Their environment's very serene. We see the individual there at the spinning wheel, just maintaining. When I get the Princess of of discs, or the queen of discs, there's a form of solitude, but also there's a form of maintenance that still needs to be done. This is where the realm is. They're not sitting there, letting things happen naturally, uh, because discs and coins and pentacles is an earth based element. It involves work, it involves investment, it involves that security. So with Gemini, I feel for this month of Aquarius, let's focus on that. Let's put a little bit more of a foundation, a little bit of a stability as to what is very important for you, what you value the most. This could be in relationships, business endeavors. Focus on one thing, and that's a challenge for Gemini, because Gemini likes a little bit of everything. They like to be in the realm in one aspect and another aspect, and it's overwhelming. So let's use this Aquarius, this month of Aquarius, the influence of changing things, but more drastically. Make those changes, okay? And then once those changes have been made, you can start seeing what needs to be focused on the most. You know, what has been missing? What have you been spending less time on and maybe more time on? Focus on the thing that you have spent less time on. Second card that I have here, 5 of Wands. Okay. So this is endeavor. Okay. So Gemini, as I mentioned, is air sign. Fire is fueled by air. So with this endeavor, once we start getting that perspective, once we start getting that grasp of what is important, start moving with that particular goal, that one particular thing that you feel needs to be really focused on. Okay. And move it at a pace that works with you. And with Gemini, I always say slow the energy down. Slow that energy down. Give your mind that time to really assess what's going on. Okay. And Mercury's fast, so sometimes Geminis can process information so quick that they already have the answer. But I feel here with Aquarius, let's spend a little bit more time. Okay, maybe you've already come to your decision. Let's spend time with it. Don't work through it quickly. That's not the energy I feel for Aquarius. The next card that I have here is the Chariot. Okay, and this is ruled by the sign of Cancer. But I'm going to focus more on the energy of the Chariot. The Chariot is taking control of what's going on at that time. If things are a little bit chaotic, okay, there's different representations of the Chariot. We sometimes see the Chariot with either 2 lions, 2 feline creatures, or 2 symbols of opposing energy, who are not moving. They're just sort of sitting there. We see some representations of the Chariot where there's no one in control, but these animals, these creatures, these inner parts of ourselves are running loose. Okay. With this card here for Gemini, the Chariot, let's take control of this. Okay. Remember what I was saying? You know, we could be having our mind in so many different things. Let's take control. Let's focus on the one thing. Okay. And put all your energy into this. And I also want to point out, when you look at this card, okay, with the Chariot, and I believe there's some representations of this, their cape that the charioteer wears emphasizes the universe. It emphasizes the cosmos. Okay, and this is where we are in the conscious realm, in reality. But we're also keeping in mind that this is where everything is coming from. This is where that energy is being influenced by. And so we have to be mindful of that. Okay, so for Gemini, this is a time of being introspective and looking within and seeing these influences that may be overwhelming you. and letting go of some of these. They'll come back another time, or maybe they won't come back at all. And taking charge of that, so that, again, we can get this stability. Okay, with the Princess of Discs. Start moving forward. Focusing on one thing. Okay, and putting all that energy into that, to making it what is the most important to you. And that influence of Aquarius, the sun in Aquarius will come in very strongly, because it does involve ideas, visionary influences, seeing things differently. This could actually open up some things to you that you were not even aware of. So just be open to this, okay? I did mention Chariot is associated with Cancer. So Cancer is a water sign. So emotionally, let's, and I think this isn't too difficult with Gemini, because Gemini rules more from the intellect, from the mind with Mercury, while Cancer deals more with the moon energy. Let's focus more on the air characteristics of your sign, communication, harmony, and with Aquarius, of connecting with people who are like-minded, that like to see change, that want to see growth. Aquariuses are the humanitarians, okay? They want to be the change that the world would like to see, okay? So that approach comes from different perspectives of Aquariuses, based on how they approach those changes, how that change they want the world to see of them. Okay, so there you go, Gemini. Okay, so let's focus on one thing, okay? Or if you feel you can juggle all of that with that Chariot card, just be mindful, because ultimately, if there's multiple priorities, I'll say ultimately again, it still comes down to one thing. You'll start finding that you'll be moving your energy towards one thing that is gravitating to your attention the most. And that's where you need to nurture that energy. Okay, so we're moving on to Libra, cardinal sign. So Aquarius is fixed. Gemini is mutable, so there's that flexibility when it comes to hearing what people have to say and listening, hearing both sides of a situation. Libra is ruled by Venus. Their sense of harmony comes more in the place of relationships within themselves and with others. What is fair is what Libra likes to keep in mind. What is fair in a situation like this? Sometimes making choices where there's going to have to be sacrifices, either on that side or on the other person's side, making those choices. So let's see for Libra, air sign, but cardinal, they usher in the autumn season. Let's see how Aquarius can come in and influence Libra. Okay. Venus also deals with comfort. So with Aquarius, I think this may be a little bit of a challenge influence for Libra, but let's see. What 3 cards do we have here for the month? Aquarius for the sign of Libra. Okay, here we go. Okay. I almost want to say this reading is like, don't take it personal, Libra. I got 1 major arcana card, and I have 2 cards, one that deals with the realm of water and the other with earth. Okay, so first card I got for you. No doom or gloom. Change. We have our death card. So we're starting to see a pattern, right? We're starting to see with that Tower card that came in with Aquarius and now with Libra, there is a time right now where things are going to be removed. Things are going to be dismissed in your life, whether it is something that is placed upon you or choices that you make that you feel needs to start happening. And this is the season to do it because winter is this time. People tend to get a little miscued with the season of winter. Winter, they think, is a time of just not moving or whatnot. On the contrary, winter is a time that we start preparing for spring. The autumn season is the time, Mabon is the time that we start slowing that energy down. We start looking back at the previous season of summer and Lammas and harvest. Here, we start preparing. What do we want to let go of? Similar to the start of the new year, in January, people want to, release things and make these changes. And but for Libra, this is very, very strong. Death is also associated with the sign of Scorpio. So this is a sign of transformation. This is a card that's needed. Whenever the Death card or the Tower card comes in, these are signs that this is what's needed. This is what's needed. You have to acknowledge it. You have to come to terms with it. And it's interesting because I'm going to move this card closer. I'm trying to avoid the highlight. We see the sword. See right there? We have the sword, the cups. I'm guessing this could be the wands. I don't know where discs is in this, but we're seeing a breakdown of all of these elements. Okay. So this is a time of just like, let's do a wash. Let's start over. We've gone as far as we have in this situation. Again, this is for Libra for the month of Aquarius. Let's do it. Clean cut. No questions asked, just do it. And that's how Scorpio's perspective is on things. They're the cleaner of the emotional and intuitive. They like to get to the crux of what's going on, and they will do what it needs to. Like with this scythe, they will cut through anything just to get to understanding what's going on. It's a form of letting go. Second card I have here, 5 of Cups. Okay, so this is regret. With any loss, there's going to be that regret and that embrace. We're going to be saying bye to some things that we may have held on to. And dealing with those feelings. But knowing that these changes, K5 again deals with challenges and crossroads and how to work with something that comes your way that needs to happen. Okay, Libra. So you may feel a sense of regret emotionally. Do not take it personally. I said that for Gemini, but no, I said this for Libra. Yeah, don't take this personally because it's needed. Venus influence with Libra may find this card not hurtful, but a little emotionally, a little bit more like creating a bit of an open wound. It's like, oh, wow. I spent, you start having that connection to what you've been working with, working for, what you've been developing, and now something's come in to change it. So the regret is all the work that you've done, but now the upside is that it's now moving into a different direction. And this is the beauty of this next card that I have. So don't hold any regret for too long. Acknowledge how you're feeling about that situation. But the next card I have here, Libra, is skill. With this shift of letting go. Okay. And this is 8 of discs. I know it doesn't look like it, but we have the circular openings in this 8. Okay, the 8 of skill is now working. We're going to start building a new mindset, a new way, a new approach to creating something that we've worked on or a relationship that we've been in. Okay, we're going to understand the experience of letting go, the results of what we're getting, the feelings. It's okay to move through it, but know that with that opening, that creation, it's going to open things in a different way. Things that are going to be better. You know what to look for more specifically in a situation. I'm feeling with the 8 of discs for the for the skill card. Excuse me. This energy is going to be shifting for Libra. I think there's going to be, and also with that influence of Aquarius, you're going to get a nice kick, a spiritual kick, in the sense of, oh, okay, so I've gone through this, I've removed this, but now I need to take it into a different direction. As you explore that direction, you're going to be learning, you're going to be understanding. So without creating space, things are going to stay the same. So Aquarius allows that openness of changing that perspective. And maybe at this point, Libra, take a different approach. Take it more from like a 360 degree, just like flip things around entirely to shake things up. Okay, Libra's all about balance, but sometimes you may need to be a little bit more aggressive to get to a point that you feel is best needed for you to move on within yourself, so on and so forth. So this is a beautiful outcome. If this energy is maintained, worked through, understood, spent time with. I'm feeling with the Death card and Aquarius because it is ruled traditionally with Saturn, so there is that discipline and that structural influence of Saturn, but Uranus radically shifting things around. I feel this change is going to happen very quickly. And Aquarius will be a wonderful guide for Libra for taking that perspective of being open to what lies ahead. Okay, so you're going to learn on this journey for the month of Aquarius, Libra, and just be receptive to it. Don't question it. Okay, like, oh, this isn't fair. Why is this happening now? It's happening. So let's start making these energies. So I'm feeling the shift overall in readings I've been doing in the last few weeks. Big changes for a lot of people. Okay. Don't be scared. Cards like this and the Tower card are giving you that guidance to go and do it. Okay. And face it head on. If you question anything or kind of change the direction, it'll just take a little bit longer, or it could actually throw a wrench in where you need to be. But again, that's up to the individual, the direction that they want to take in their life, considering this reading. Okay, so there we go, Libra. Shifts going on for quite a few people for this month, and it's wonderful for Aquarius. So let's spend time, not too much time, ruminating on it. Let's be honest with how we're feeling about shifts and change. Okay, and if it's possible, and if it is possible, or even if it's not possible, just make it happen. Just make it happen. And then things will start moving in the direction that it needs to at this time. Alrighty, so there you go. Air sign readings, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra for the month of Aquarius. Next up, because we have Pisces coming up next month, I will do the water signs. I'm going to do my best to get those readings out to you over the next few days in lieu of weather. So stay tuned. If you have any questions about the readings, leave them in the comments. And I have a website, so if you'd like me to do a reading, you can reach me that way. I'm more than happy to help you. I have a 20% discount going on right now. I've extended it for the Wheel of the Year readings. I have an Astrological Wheel of the Year and a Witch's Wheel of the Year reading. If you go to the website, it explains, and I also put in the description, the differences between those readings. So if you are interested in that, let me know. So stay tuned. Pisces, we have Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio next for the water sign readings for the month of Aquarius. Okay, I will catch you next time, hopefully with a stronger voice, and I will show you my readings for Pisces and Cancer and Scorpio. See you soon.